timeout is sponsored by Augie's Locker Room. Augie's features the largest collection of Notre Dame football memorabilia and gifts, including rare and hard-to-find items.
Hey, this is Augie, Augie's Locker Room. Website, augieslockerroom.com. Visit us here or the website.
The Steve Angeli, Jordan Faison offense struck quickly, spun their wheels for a little while, but then Notre Dame took control of the line of scrimmage and pulled away from Oregon State to win 40-8 in the 90th annual Sun Bowl. Tim, I thought Oregon State would be a little bit more stout in the trenches, especially in the defensive line. Notre Dame's offensive line put it together. They took control of the line of scrimmage and were outstanding. Plenty of stars for Notre Dame today. Jordan Faison, the unlikely MVP. When we talk about it, when this preseason practice started in August, Steve Angeli performed like an MVP himself.
Yeah, freshmen and sophomores led the way offensively, and I think that's great news for Notre Dame fans going into next year because they needed it. At one point, I think Pete Sampson brought up they had 5 true freshmen out there during a touchdown. Obviously, Charles Jagasa was one of them. Played an excellent game. I was worried about communication. Clearly not a huge issue communicating among the offensive linemen. And Steve Angeli played great. He played great. He had a couple plays where he jumped in the air because he wanted to get a first down, and that's what a first-time starter does. He had a play where, as you said, his feet kind of got stuck in the pocket where you can't take a 13-yard sack. But other than that, Steve Angeli played as well as you would ever hope because he was leading a brand-new group around him offensively.
And L. Golden's defense responded exactly like we thought they would against.
No youth needed on that defense.
No,
so
definitely
there's Christian
not.
Gray, but that's it. They
yeah,
were
no
fantastic.
doubt. Christian Gray did an excellent job. But no doubt about it. Al Golden, just as we said in the pregame, was very aggressive at the line of scrimmage. J.D. Bertrand had like six blitzes within the first 10 snaps of the football. They held Oregon State to 10 first downs, 2 yards rushing, just 197 yards in total offense. It was an outstanding performance on both sides of the football for Notre Dame.
And before the game got a little loose at the very end, Oregon State was 0 for 8 combined on 3rd and 4th down offensively, and they had gained negative 8 yards on those 8 plays. The defense dominated, and I thought Marcus Freeman made a great point post-game. He said, look, I'd be lying if I said I'm surprised by what our defense did, because he knew going in that's where the advantage was. But it was great that they were still able to put the pedal metal a little bit offensively. They knew the running game was going to win it for them, but the first offensive drive is a 96-yard touchdown drive. That's the way to start. When you see that as Marcus Freeman, you think, our defense is going to own this day. And they did. There was some scuffles a little bit offensively, but it was a very good full team showing, including the special teams, with a key stop that you and I both cannot believe. That's where they tried to pull out a special teams fake punt, but Notre Dame knew it was coming.
Yeah, it was a 7-0 game at that point. I asked Marcus Freeman about whether clearly they were prepared for something to happen, and they called spy, which Marty Biaggi did, the special teams coach, which meant be aware of a fake punt, and Josh Burnham read it, along with Jaden Mickey was around the football as well. Josh Burnham also combined with Drake Bowen for a safety late in the game. Offensively, Steve Angeli 15 for 19, 232 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jeremiah Love with 47 yards rushing and a receiving touchdown, and then Jadarian Price with 108 yards on the ground. All around, fine offensive performance, protected the football. The 2 young offensive tackles did a really nice job of protecting Angeli. Not all the time early in the game. He was sacked twice, but they did a fine job. We were all concerned about, first of all, we were concerned about the nickelback situation, but Notre Dame, when you're dominating the line of scrimmage, Oregon State was not going to have a whole lot of success offensively.
I thought Benjamin Morrison put it best. He said we're in the back line having fun, and they are up front making money, and that's what happens up front with the defensive. When the defensive line plays like that, it makes it easier for the secondary. Howard Cross, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, and the guy we both voted for. You could have voted for Javonte Jean-Baptiste, but Jordan Botelho as the Sun Bowl defensive MVP. I think that's a big deal for him. I mean, it would have been great if it was JJB also because he came back for this, or he decided to stay for this game. It's a big deal for Jordan Botelho. This is Marcus Freeman's 3rd year coaching him defensively. Remember, he was a defensive coordinator. It's the first time he's ever really found a role. I mean, they had to make up names for him in 2021 where he was playing in a certain spy role. They need a guy like Jordan Botelho. He's not going to be a 14-sack guy, but they need a guy like this playing Viper next year as some of the young guys. Boubacar Traore, other guys come up. You think maybe Josh Burnham can go help out on both sides now as he grows. I think that's key for the defense. This is going to be a fantastic defense on paper. coming back next season, and they have Al Golden leading what's on paper. So I mean, that's, you write it at ink, not pencil.
A great springboard for Jordan Botelho coming back next year, and I agree. I mean, I think he can go into the offseason motivated. He never, at least through the 2023 season, we always talked about, he can't find that balance between being a pass rusher, holding the edge, and then making plays, running plays against the run, whatever. But I think a really important game for him. And as you said, Jean-Baptiste, like I originally wrote him in as the defensive MVP, but Botelho, as the game wore on, I think deserved it. They both deserve it, just like offensively. You could have had 3 MVPs if you include Jadarian Price as well.
I thought Faison. I voted for Faison because I thought he gave him the spark with the leaping catch. He did mention Jordan Faison post game that his touchdown, the 13-yarder on third down in the red zone, was something they repped all week. They saw Oregon State's defense. They like to play that defense in those red zone situations, and Angeli hit it. But Angeli deserves it just as much as Jordan Faison. It's just Faison was the spark that got him going, and we thought Faison would be a spark because he always is when he's out there. It's an incredible situation that they lost 2 freshman wide receivers and gained 1, and he was the Sun Bowl MVP.
Marcus Freeman is the king of preaching, being prepared and working hard and taking nothing for granted, and he hammered this team about being prepared and taking nothing for granted, the significance of winning a 10th game and then springboarding into next year. I think at times probably for this football team, it's like we're hearing that message again, but that message certainly got through today. I thought Oregon State would be a little bit better prepared. We thought they'd struggle offensively.
But I thought defensively it was going to be a little bit more of a struggle for Notre Dame.
The
other way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. It was the kind of performance that you hope for when there are so many opt-outs. You just don't know for sure.
Right.
I know some of our subscribers thought it would be a blowout. It ended up being a blowout. We have to look at things a little bit more objectively at times in analyzing these games, and we thought Oregon State could have some success, especially with their defensive line. But they were no match for Notre Dame's offensive line. That interior offensive line is going to be very good.
Yeah.
It's in the process of doing that. I thought Tosh Baker played as well as you could expect him. We still have that image of how he played in 2021. He's a much better football player. Charles Jagasa is going to be a really good offensive lineman. There's no doubt.
We knew Ben Gulbranson could be poised because he started 10 times, but he looked like a poised third-string quarterback against Notre Dame's defense. They made him look like a third-string quarterback. There was one amazing pass at the end of the half.
Oh, my God.
But that was the highlight of his day by far. And
that was the one that was nullified, right?
Yeah, they nullified on the next play. But it was – Notre Dame is a better football team before opt-outs. After opt-outs, if you want to call everything even in opt-outs, Notre Dame has a deeper football team. Marcus Freeman has built a deeper football team. You could just see a lot more talent out there, young talent coming up. It would have been a little bit better game without the opt-outs, but this is great news for Notre Dame to have a defense they can rely on coming back, a young offense, and a young offense is going to be led by an older quarterback. And now Steve Angeli has a choice to make. I would like to think that Steve Angeli will make his choice after the spring. I understand if he doesn't because he might want to go somewhere and try to start, but he showed out well, and that's what you need to do in that situation.
We talked pregame that you cannot lose this game. You can't go into the offseason losing game to Oregon State in the Sun Bowl. It never even came close to that. Final score, Notre Dame 40, Oregon State 8.